had a law firm, a personal injury law firm that focused on workplace injuries, and I haven't heard back from them this week. So unfortunately, I still don't have a website. I may just grab a website at random and analyze it. Maybe I'll use one that I'm building now. But I do have some topics to talk about. I've been answering questions on Quora quite a bit, and if you go back to my blog, scottgombar.com, you'll see that one of the things that I tell people about marketing, personal branding, really personal brand development, is that you should use Quora to help develop your brand, because it helps set you up as an expert if you answer people's questions, right? So I answered a couple of questions there this week already, and so I wanted to talk about those questions. So the first one, which was kind of a vague question, is how does Google decide who ranks for a keyword? There are over 200 ranking factors for Google, so it's impossible to tell you what it is that determines you're being ranked over someone else or someone else being ranked over you. It's impossible to know why that happens without more information. So without having the website and versus your competitor or whoever it is that's ranking higher than you, I can't 100% answer that question, but I did leave some suggestions. So again, there are over 200 ranking factors for the Google algorithm, and that's just Google. So you also got to consider Bing and Yahoo and some other search engines. So I've got a list of, I don't know, maybe 10 or so things, a little more than that actually, and I'll go over that quickly so that you guys have an idea of some of the things you should look at. First of all, is the keyword in your URL? So the web page in question, is the keyword in the URL. Now, top level domain names, meaning scottgombar.com or mywebsite.com, whatever, or .net or .org or .us, and those are top level domain names. If the keyword that you're focusing on is in that, then you're going to do very well for that keyword. So obviously I rank very high for Scott Gombar. I think it's actually number one. Let's check right now. As it should be. You're the name of your business. If you have a website with your name, then that should be the first thing that ranks on your site. So yes, number 1 and 2 actually are my website, because Scott Gombar is in the URL, in the top level domain name URL. Now, you're obviously going to have blog posts and so forth that will also have URLs. So it'll be scottgombar.com/my blog post title, or my blog post, what my blog post is about. And that can be in the URL. That's the extension of the URL. Is your keyword in that URL? Now, so I'll come back to that. Is the keyword on the web page a few times? Now, I'm not telling you to keyword stuff at all. I'm telling you to create content for your audience, but make sure the keyword is in there, and make sure variations on the keyword are in there, because if they're not, you're failing on ranking for RankBrain. RankBrain is accounting for a good chunk of Google search results now, and if you're not taking that into consideration and using variations of your keyword phrase, then you're going to fail. And that could be why your competition is ranking higher than you. That could be a part of it there. Is the keyword in the title? Again, no keyword stuffing here. Don't just put my keyword, my keyword, my keyword. No. The title has to get your audience's attention, because some of the things that Google's taken into consideration, and some of the reasons why RankBrain is now in existence, is engagement and sharing and relevancy and things like that. If your title is just an attempt at keyword stuffing, then you're not trying to engage your audience. Engagement means people are sharing it, people are commenting on it, people are doing something with your blog, people are visiting it. Because if they're not, then we're sending signals to Google that says nobody cares about it. You're not going to have any authority on that topic. So the title, the keyword, you should try to put the keyword in the title. It's not always necessary, because it's more important to have a title that's going to draw people to your post or to your page. Okay. Is the keyword in the meta description? So supposedly meta descriptions don't count as a ranking factor anymore. However, if I search for something and the page comes up and there's no meta description, I'm less likely to click on it. And it's real estate on the Google search results page. You have real estate that you can use, and you need to use all of it. So if your website comes up and there's nothing underneath it, you're not claiming real estate. The larger your real estate is on that first page, more likely you're going to get traffic to your website. So make sure you have a meta description. And make sure the keyword's in the meta description. Do images on the page have the keyword in the alt tag, title tag? Again, not saying keyword stuff, but let's include it in at least one image. And no duplicate alt tags and title tags. How old is the domain? If you just bought the domain last week, it's not going to rank that fast. But I will tell you a scenario in a few minutes. It's not going to rank that fast. Also, how long did you buy the domain name for? Did you buy it for 1 year, or did you buy it for multiple years? Google looks at single year registrations and says there's more potential for spam, or that this person, maybe they say, well, this person isn't really taking it seriously. They only bought it for a year. I get it. It costs more money to buy for multiple years, but you actually save more. So if you're really taking it seriously, do you really want to just spend $15, or do you want to spend $50 and go for a few years? You can go up to 10 years. Is the content up to date? When was the last time you updated your website? When was the last time you skimmed your pages and made sure that things are up to date? When was the last time you wrote a blog post? These are all things to consider when trying to determine what you need to do for your website. If you don't have any new blog posts and you haven't updated your content in years, then you're not going to rank very high, and you're going to start slipping. Your keyword ranking will start to slip. And that was another question I answered on Quora, by the way. Why would my keyword ranking slip? And again, without more information, it's kind of hard to answer that question, but there are reasons, competition being one of them. We talked about engagement, but do you have engagement on your website? What does your bounce rate look like? If you have a high bounce rate, above 60%, depending on what kind of website it is, so a landing page is going to have a higher bounce rate. But if you have a bounce rate that's high and you have a regular website with 15 pages or something like that, something's wrong. You need to look into that. Why aren't people staying on your site? Why aren't people commenting or sharing? These are things you need to consider. Okay. Is the content relevant to the website? If you're a plumber and you're writing about personal injury law, it's not relevant to your website. People aren't going to go to your website looking for personal injury law information. Is the content written with your audience in mind? Are you writing for your audience, or are you writing for Google and Bing? Because if you're writing for Google and Bing, you're going to fail. You need to write for your audience. That's why RankBrain exists now. Are there high quality backlinks to your webpage? Not any backlinks, high quality backlinks. Are there high quality backlinks to your page? Now, I think I mentioned it on a previous episode. You're not going to get penalized really anymore for low quality backlinks. They will just be devalued. They will not count as backlinks to your website in the sense that it'll improve your rankings and traffic and so forth. You just won't get penalized either. That's part of the Penguin 4.0 update. But high quality backlinks will help. So high quality backlinks are relevant websites with authority that link back to you. Things like, I think I advised on the last show to add your information to TED.com, right? Because it's a high quality backlink. Page speed and mobile and AMP. So page speed is becoming increasingly more important, especially on mobile devices. Mobile ready websites, and there's still a large number of websites that are not mobile friendly. You're not going to show up on search results if you're not mobile friendly. And AMP. Now Google is claiming that AMP is not a ranking factor, but it will be. If it's not already, it will be. Now keep in mind the Google algorithm updates 600 times a year, almost twice a day, and probably update even more now with Penguin added to the core algorithm. All right, so there are other, like I said, there's over 200 ranking factors. These are just some. So I have two stories for you. First one, Added SSL, so this is another ranking factor, and it's one that's becoming more important. And if you even speak to SSL vendors, then they'll tell you the same thing. I added SSL to a website, and I did notice my keyword rankings, the ones I've been monitoring, moved up a few spots. Nothing dramatic, but they moved up a few spots. And if you're at 11, those few spots are the difference between second page and first page. Okay. If you're at 5, those few spots are the difference between being seen above the fold and below the fold, potentially. Okay. So it's worth the investment. I think it's $70 for the year for an SSL, and if you buy multiple years, it's even less than that. Almost the same cost as hosting, depending on where you're hosting. So it's definitely worth the investment. Get an SSL certificate and install it on your site, and that should help. The other thing, a little story. It's probably a year or two ago. I tried this test. I wanted to rank for CT widgets, which is short for Connecticut widgets. I bought ctwidgets.com, installed WordPress on it, and did nothing else. There was no content added to the site whatsoever. Ranked number 1 on Google within a few days. A few weeks later, it was gone, completely gone. The moral of the story there is I didn't do anything else. I never updated it. I never added content to it. And Google said, well, okay, so this site isn't doing anything. Within a few weeks, it was completely off of Google. All right, so you can get to the top spot or on the first page at least pretty quickly if there's not a lot of competition. However, you have to maintain it as well. So if you ever watch Dangerous Minds, really good movie, true story. There's a line in the movie where she gives everybody, all the students in her class, an A. And students are in shock. They're like, I've never had an A before, and blah, blah, blah. So she says, anybody can get an A once. It's harder to maintain that A. So the same thing applies to Google keyword rankings. Anybody can rank once. It's harder to maintain that ranking because you're going to have increased competition. You're going to have algorithm changes. You're going to have, a bunch of stuff to deal with on a regular basis. All right. So that was the first question I wanted to go over with Quora, and that was about determining who ranks for a keyword on Google. The second question, a little bit quicker. What are the best questions to ask when you shop for an SEO expert? So this is a really good question, and you should really treat it as though you were hiring somebody to work for your business. Ask for references and make sure it's not a family member or something like that, a business they've done work for in the past. Ask what methods they're going to use to improve your SEO. So there are a lot of things. I told you there's over 200 ranking factors for SEO for Google. So what are they going to do to help improve on those 200 things? Now, am I suggesting that they need to consider all 200 things? No, because that's a huge task. And some of those are ongoing, by the way. So backlinks, that's an ongoing program. Blogging, content development, that's an ongoing program. So that's not going to be a one-time deal and done. And SEO is not one time. It is something that is ongoing. So I will tell you, I have clients that come to me and say, I need to improve my SEO. And I offer on-page SEO services. It's essentially one time, though it shouldn't be. You should go back and review it again in a few months. And then I also offer managed SEO, which is primarily off-page SEO stuff. That's the link building, content development, and so forth. So what are they going to do to improve your SEO? Ask them what penguin, rank brain, panda mean to them. And if they seem to struggle with those answers or, seem to BS their way through the answers, they don't have the right answers, and you can research these before you ask the questions, find out what they are. Then you don't want to deal with them if they don't know what those are, because they're important. They are important factors in the Google search algorithm. Another question was, I just lost it in my head. I apologize. I'll see if I can remember what it was, because I didn't have it here and I thought of it as I was talking. The other thing is for their website, check the who.is database and see how long they registered their domain name for. And if it's registered for a year or less, and you can see, because you can see when it was registered and when it expires. So if it was registered for a year or less, then they don't know something as simple as registering for multiple years is going to help them with their own SEO. So if they're not doing it for themselves, they're not practicing what they preach, then they're not going to do that for you, and they're going to fail. You can talk to any legitimate SEO and get an audit. I offer a free one myself, and I think most SEOs probably do. If you want to make sure that the previous provider, because I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of people in my industry who don't know what they're doing or claim to know what they're doing and charge a lot of money to do nothing. And I've heard a lot of stories of bad experiences with previous SEO. You can get an audit, and maybe you get that audit completed before you cut the final check. I don't charge everything up front. I charge a third up front, and then depending on what we're doing, it's either going to be a third, or a third, and then 2/3. So in that case, first of all, it puts the client at ease a little bit that, hey, I'm not dumping all this money into this program that isn't going to work. And B, you can go back and check what I did and make sure I did it right, because you can get a free audit. It's not going to give you everything you need to know, but it will give you the basics. All right, so make sure they're doing that. Ask them, you can even ask, what do you think the next big thing is in SEO? And right now, I think it's going to be page speed. It's a guess. It's an educated guess, but I think page speed will be the next big algorithm push. So those would be my suggestions before you hire an SEO or a digital marketing company that's going to handle your SEO. Ask them how they're going to do those things, and that should help you out a little bit. If you're still unsure, reach out to me. I don't have any problem talking to you about what you should be looking for. ScottGombar.com. All my contact information is there. Or you could join me next week here or Friday. Growth Success Radio, 11 a.m. Eastern. You can now watch it on Facebook Live as well, and it will be on our website soon, very soon. So you can do that as well. So that's 11 a.m. Eastern. Last week we had Grant Cardone, so go check that out. It's still on my Facebook profile, my co-host Facebook profile, on YouTube, iTunes, growthsuccessradio.com. All of those places, you check that out. It was a great interview. And I'll be back here next week, 12 noon Wednesday, for more SEO Teardown, because SEO is for the people, and Periscope Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and potentially Friday at 8 p.m. Again, SEO is for the people. Periscope at Scott Gombar. So please join me. If you have SEO questions, that's the place to ask. I would love it if you guys join me and brought questions. It would be great. Good time for all. I'd offer coffee and snacks, but it's virtual, so I can't. All right, so I will see you guys there or here or over there. Have a great day. Have a productive Wednesday. And remember, again, SEO is for the people.